Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Bold and Beautiful today.
Finn is heartbroken and blames Steffy for Luna's death. He wants a divorce. While Luna and Liam battle for their lives in surgery, Hope rushes to the hospital. Miss Dillon, who has been released, sobs and apologizes while the paramedics tend to Liam and Luna. Although Steffy can't concentrate on that at the moment, she tells the policeman that Luna enticed her there. Liam starts to calm down a little, but Finn cautions that they won't be able to tell until they are at the hospital. Concerning the female, the officer inquires. Finn continues to treat Liam despite claiming to have a gunshot wound to her chest. The cop tries to question Steffy further about Luna after Liam is placed on a stretcher. She tells him Liam saved her life and identifies the rifle she used. Steffy and Finn agree to accompany Liam in the ambulance. Hope is concerned about Liam. Hope informs Carter at Forrester that she believes Liam could be at last prepared to share his condition with his father and brothers. What it would be like for a parent to lose a child is beyond Carter's comprehension. Hope claims it's the most excruciating ache she has ever experienced. Carter says she's sorry, she once believed Beth was dead. Hope is happy that Steffy informed her of Liam's tumor and that she has the opportunity to support him. Liam must be the one to inform Bill, Will, and Wyatt that she hopes they will also have that opportunity. But time is running out. What might occur from day to day is unpredictable. Hope and Carter talk about if there is a therapy for Liam's tumor. According to Hope, it has to do with his quality of life. He doesn't want to be too exhausted and ill to make memories. Carter tells her that while he wants to spend as much time with Liam as possible, he takes the duty of being Beth's stepfather very seriously. It was unthinkable for Hope to lose Liam to such a tumor. Carter complains that this is unfair to him because he is a good man. Hope concurs that he is a selfless person. Carter questions whether Bill will regret not seeing that more. According to Hope, their definitions of strength differ. Their daughter has inherited Liam's gift. According to Carter, Beth has two amazing, powerful parents. Hope urges her to cherish the memories she has of Liam. She doesn't even want to consider it, so saying goodbye won't be simple. Neither of them realizes how close it might be. It's likely that she assumed Liam would always be around and a member of their family. He's running out of time way too quickly. Liam and Luna engage in a battle for survival. Grace finds out that Liam has many gunshot wounds when he is wheeled into the hospital. Sheila, who is stable, wheeled in behind Luna. As Steffy is in excruciating pain, Finn informs her that Liam must to the operating room. He will stop at nothing to save him. After he flees, the cops come up to Steffy once more to ask her about Luna's trap. They inquire about the participation of the others. Steffy describes Sheila's relationship to Luna and how she was shot when she attempted to take the gun from her. When Lee shows up, Steffy informs her that Luna shot Liam. There was a lot of blood. Steffy continues to tell Lee the story, and Finn reappears. Steffy informs Finn that she is unsure of what she would do if Luna lives and Liam dies. Luna is carried off into emergency surgery after an alarm chimes. Sheila asks Finn about Luna over the phone. Finn doesn't want to put off taking care of Liam, but Grace wants to. Before they depart, Steffy gives Liam a head kiss as he returns to take him to surgery. While caring for Sheila in the operating room, Grace keeps track of Liam's condition. Sheila's thoughts of her grandchild are constantly on her mind. Grace can relate because she has also experienced her share of family strife. They start operating after putting Sheila under. While searching for the bullet, Bridget and Lee tend to Luna in the other operating room. Lee believes they will have to leave it in after seeing it. She refuses to let her life run out. I will not allow my niece to pass away in this manner. It will take more than a gunshot to separate Liam from his two young daughters, the police officer informs Steffy as she waits in the waiting area. Steffy sobs that if it weren't for him, she would be on the operating table. I owe my life to him. She requests permission from a nurse to enter the surgical room. She is informed that she is permitted to observe through the observation glass. Finn encourages Liam to persevere in the operating room. We'll help you get through this. He observes via the window as Steffy walks into the observation room and looks up. Steffy presses a button on her phone while Finn proceeds with the surgery. Hope answers Steffy's call at Forrester. Liam's in the hospital, she finds out. He was shot by Luna. You must arrive here as quickly as possible. Hope cuts Carter off and informs him that Liam has been shot and that they must leave right away. Grace sutures Sheila and declares she's nearly finished in the operating room. She finds out that Liam has not been updated and that Luna is still undergoing surgery. She claims that although Liam's and her granddaughter's wounds are life-threatening, Sheila was fortunate that hers weren't. An alarm beeps in the other oar, and Liam's stats start to decline. As Finn yells commands, Steffy begs, "Oh God, Liam. You have to fight, Liam. You should spend more time with Kelly." Everyone does. Lee wishes Bridget luck during Luna's procedure. Bridget is hoping Luna will stay stable. Lee regrets the difficult existence she had with her mother. She will inform Penelope. One of the nurses says, "We're losing her, as there is an unexpected hemorrhage." "Luna! Luna!" yells Lee. Hope rushes to the hospital for Liam after Luna flatlines. In the surgery area, Lee Finnegan panicked and Luna Nozawa flatlined. Here's how Wednesday's BNB action unfolded. Hope Logan also hurried to the hospital for Liam Spencer. John Finnegan discovered a weak pulse at the beach home and applied pressure to Liam's wound until paramedics could get there. Steffy Forrester made an effort to respond to the police officer's queries, but she was angry and preferred to concentrate on Liam. With her limitations lifted, Ms. Dillon also felt bad about not knowing the truth about Ms. Sunshine, also known as Luna, but Finn reassured her that it wasn't her fault. As the gunshot victims arrived, Grace Buckingham received information from Finn about Liam, Luna, and Sheila Sharp, who were all taken to the hospital for treatment. Steffy gave a brief explanation of insane Luna and gave Liam credit for saving her life when a police officer questioned her about what had happened. Steffy told Finn that she didn't know what she would do if Luna lived and Liam didn't, even though she admitted that Luna was Finn's daughter. Since Liam was her patient, Grace wanted to work on him, but Finn sent her to bandage Sheila's foot instead. Before he left for the surgery room, Steffy kissed Liam on the forehead. Lee received the terrible news of the shooting as Grace was operating on Sheila, and she ended up working on Luna with Bridget Forrester. Lee argued that they might have to leave the bullet in place after struggling to get it out. Lee was relieved when Luna appeared more steady since he would not allow her to pass away in this manner. Bridget said they had a bleeder and tried desperately to help Luna while Lee talked about being the one to tell Poppy Nozawa about everything. Lee began yelling Luna's name in panic when she flatlined because they were losing her. Steffy went to an observation window to see Liam's surgery after a police officer reassured her. Steffy was also able to call Hope and inform her that Luna had shot Liam. As she filled Carter Walton in and hurried to the hospital with him, Hope was obviously upset. Liam Spencer and Luna Nozawa. Nearby, Miss Dillon, liberated but hollow-eyed, wept uncontrollably, her choked apologies dissolving into the cacophony of sirens and shouted medical jargon. Steffy Forrester, her own face a mask of shock smeared with her husband's blood, stood rigidly beside Liam's gurney. A police officer hovered, trying to penetrate her fog, pressing about Luna's role in the ambush. "She lured me," Steffy managed, her voice raw, her gaze never leaving Liam's ashen face, "but I can't, not now." Dr. John Finnegan, his hands a blur of life-saving motions on Liam's chest, offered a sliver of cautious hope. Liam's vitals were showing tentative signs of stabilization, a fragile thread holding him to this world, but his warning was stark: "We won't know the full picture until we get him scanned and into an OR." The officer, shifting focus, gestured towards the other stretcher. "The girl?" Finn barely glanced up, his concentration fierce on Liam's labored breathing. GSW to the chest. Critical. As Liam was finally secured onto a wheeled stretcher, the officer tried again with Steffy, seeking details about Luna's trap. Steffy's voice trembled as she identified the discarded weapon, her words landing like stones: "That gun. Liam, he saved my life." The decision was instantaneous, born of shared terror and love. Finn and Steffy would both ride in the ambulance with Liam, leaving the chaos and the critical questions about Luna momentarily behind. Miles away, within the elegant, insulated calm of Forrester Creations, Hope Logan sat across from Carter Walton, a fragile bubble of optimism surrounding them. "I think," Hope said, her voice soft with tentative relief, "Liam might finally be ready to tell Bill and his brothers about the diagnosis." The unspoken weight, Liam's inoperable brain tumor, hung heavy between them. Carter's expression softened with profound empathy. "I can't imagine," he murmured, "what it must be like for a parent, facing the loss of a child." The words struck a deep, familiar chord in Hope. Her eyes clouded momentarily with the ghost of an unimaginable past pain. "It's the most searing pain imaginable," she whispered, the memory of believing her daughter Beth had died still a raw nerve. Carter immediately offered a quiet apology, remembering that searing chapter. Hope brushed it aside, focusing on the present sliver of light. "I'm just grateful Steffy told me about the tumor," she said, her voice gaining strength. "It gave me the chance to be there for him again. To support him." She paused, her gaze drifting towards a window overlooking the city lights. "I hope Bill, Will, and Wyatt get that chance too. But Liam, he needs to be the one to tell them." Although... Her voice dropped, the fragile optimism cracking. "The clock is ticking. There's no telling what can happen from one day to the next." They delved into the grim reality, the lack of curative treatment, the focus shifting solely to quality of life. "It's about moments now, Carter," Hope explained, her voice thick with unshed tears. "Creating memories with Beth, with Steffy and Kelly. He doesn't want to be too sick, too tired, to live whatever time he has left." Carter reached across, his hand briefly covering hers. "You know I take my role as Beth's stepfather incredibly seriously," he assured her. "But I want you, to have every single possible moment with Liam. Every single one." Hope nodded, a wave of grief momentarily overwhelming her. Losing Liam to the relentless, invisible enemy inside his head was a nightmare she tried to push away. Now, facing it, the unfairness was suffocating. Carter voiced it, "He's a good man, Hope. He doesn't deserve this." Selfless, Hope agreed instantly, her love for Liam shining through the pain. Always putting others first. Carter wondered aloud if Bill Spencer would regret not appreciating that profound strength sooner. Hope offered a weary understanding. They have different definitions of strength. But Liam, he passed his quiet courage on to Beth. Carter smiled softly. "Beth has two remarkably strong parents." Hope's composure finally fractured, a single tear traced a path down her cheek. "I want her to hold her memories of him, hold them so close," she choked out. "Saying goodbye, it's not going to be." She couldn't finish. The thought was too vast, too terrifying. "It could be closer than either of us think," she admitted, the words tasting like ashes. I took it for granted. That Liam would always be there. Always part of our family, part of Beth's life. Time." Her voice broke completely. "Time is running out for him, far too soon." Back at the hospital, the controlled chaos escalated as Liam's stretcher burst through the ER doors. Dr. Grace Buckingham, already prepped, received the rapid-fire report, multiple gunshot wounds. Seconds later, Luna's stretcher followed, surrounded by a fresh team, her pallor alarming. Behind them, a third gurney carried Sheila Carter, conscious but grimacing, her own wound stabilized but a stark reminder of the violent chain reaction. Steffy moved beside Liam like a shadow, her agony palpable. Finn, already snapping orders, turned to her, his professional mask barely holding. "He's going straight to her, Steffy. I'll do everything humanly possible." He squeezed her arm briefly, a silent vow, before rushing off with Liam's gurney. The police, relentless in their duty, immediately cornered Steffy again, demanding clarity on the trap, the connections. Steffy, her eyes darting towards the doors Liam had vanished through, forced herself to explain Luna's misguided plan, Sheila's sudden, disastrous intervention, the struggle for the gun that ended with Sheila shot and Luna pulling the trigger on Liam. As Steffy recounted the blood, there was so much blood. Finn arrived, drawn by the commotion or perhaps a familial pull. Steffy turned to her, the words tumbling out, "Liam, he was shot by Luna." Finn reappeared briefly, a whirlwind of purpose. Steffy grabbed his arm, her voice a desperate whisper only he could hear over the din. "Finn, if Luna survives this and Liam doesn't, I don't know what I'll do." The raw pain in her eyes mirrored his own fear. Suddenly, a sharp alarm pierced the air from Luna's bay. Her condition was crashing. The team surrounding her surged into motion, wheeling her away towards another operating room. Sheila, straining from her gurney, called out weakly to Finn, "My granddaughter." Finn didn't stop, already moving back towards Liam. Grace intercepted, gently pushing Sheila back down. "They're taking care of her." Finn rejoined Liam, preparing to take him to his own surgical battle. Steffy lunged forward, pressing a fervent, tear-streaked kiss onto Liam's cool forehead as they whisked him away. "Fight," she breathed, the word lost in the squeak of wheels and the pounding of her own heart. The operating theaters became isolated worlds of high-stakes warfare against death. In Sheila's oar, Grace worked with practiced efficiency, suturing the wound. "Almost done here," she announced, her voice calm. She inquired about the others. Luna was still under the knife, Liam's fate unknown. Sheila was lucky, Grace observed to her team, stitching meticulously. Non-life-threatening. But her granddaughter, and Liam, they weren't so fortunate. Down the hall, in Luna's oar, the atmosphere was electric with tension. Bridget Forrester and Finn worked in synchronized focus, navigating treacherous anatomy to find the bullet lodged perilously near Luna's heart. "There," Bridget murmured, pointing with a sterile instrument. Lee peered in, her brow furrowed with intense concentration and a fierce, protective fury. "It's too deep, too risky," she assessed grimly. "We leave it. Priority is controlling the bleed. Stabilize her." Her voice hardened, a vow echoing in the sterile air. "I refuse to let my niece die this way. Not like this." Alone in the hushed, antiseptic purgatory of the surgical waiting room, Steffy paced like a caged animal. The same officer who had questioned her earlier approached, offering awkward comfort. "He's a fighter, Mrs. Forrester. Takes more than a bullet to take a man like that away from his little girls." Steffy whirled, tears finally breaking free. "It should be me in there," she cried, the guilt and terror erupting. "He pushed me out of the way. He took those bullets, for me. I owe him my life." The magnitude of the debt was crushing. Desperate for connection, for action, she turned to a nearby nurse. "Let me in. Please. I need to be near him." The refusal was gentle but firm. Instead, she was directed to an observation window overlooking Liam's oar. Steffy rushed to it, pressing her palms against the cool glass. Below, the scene was a tableau of controlled desperation. Finn, gowned and masked, his eyes locked on the monitors and the exposed surgical field, worked with precise urgency over Liam's still form. "Hang in there, Liam," Finn murmured, a constant, fervent mantra. "Stay with us. We're going to get you through this." He glanced up, sensing a presence. His eyes met Steffy's through the observation window. The connection was instantaneous, wordless, a current of shared fear, love, and determination flowing between them. Steffy raised a trembling hand, pressing it against the glass. Finn gave an almost imperceptible nod, a silent promise, before refocusing completely on the delicate, life-threatening task before him. Steffy, needing to shatter the unbearable isolation, needing hope, fumbled for her phone, her fingers shaking as she dialed. At Forrester, the phone's shrill ring shattered the heavy silence that had settled after Hope's tearful admission about time running out. Hope answered, her voice still thick with unshed tears. "Steffy?" The voice on the other end was Steffy's, but stripped bare, vibrating with pure panic. "Hope, it's Liam. You need to come to the hospital. Now." Hope's blood ran cold. "Hospital? Why? What's happened?" Steffy's next words hit her like a physical blow, driving the air from her lungs. "He's been shot. By Luna. You need to get here as soon as you can." The line went dead. Hope stood frozen, the phone clutched in her whitening knuckles, the world tilting violently on its axis. The tumor, the ticking clock, the precious memories, all violently eclipsed by this new, horrifying reality. She turned to Carter, her face a mask of utter devastation. "Liam," she gasped, the name a ragged sob. "He's been shot. We have to go. Now." Back in Liam's oar, the steady rhythm of the monitors, a fragile lifeline, suddenly fractured. A high-pitched, insistent alarm screamed through the room. Liam's vital signs plummeted. Crashing, a nurse called out. Finn's voice snapped, sharp and commanding, barking orders for meds, for compressions, for more suction. Up in the observation room, Steffy's hands flew to her mouth, stifling a scream. Her eyes, wide with primal terror, locked onto Liam's motionless form. "Oh God, Liam," she cried out, her voice echoing in the small space, unheard below but carrying the weight of her breaking heart. "Oh, Liam, you need to fight. Kelly needs more time with you. We all do." Simultaneously, in Luna's oar, a fragile equilibrium shattered. Bridget and Lee had been holding the line, willing Luna's battered body to rally. "Keep her stable, Bridget," Lee had murmured moments before, her voice thick with a complex mix of professional duty and burgeoning familial anguish, thinking of Luna's troubled life, the mother she barely knew, the duty to inform Poppy. "We'll tell Penelope." She'd started, then stopped. A sudden, violent gush of dark red blood erupted from the surgical site. A nurse's voice cut through the tension, sharp and urgent, "We're losing her. Massive bleeder." Lee Finn's composure vanished. A raw, guttural scream tore from her throat, filled with the terror of losing a piece of her family she was only just beginning to claim, "Luna! Luna!" Hope Logan, propelled by a tidal wave of fear, burst through the hospital's main doors just as these twin cries of despair, Steffy's desperate plea echoing from the observation level and Lee's agonized scream resonating from their corridor, seemed to vibrate through the very walls of the building. The air crackled with impending loss. In two separate operating rooms, under the unforgiving glare of surgical lights, two lives hung suspended by the thinnest of threads, their fates intertwined in violence and fragile biology, while outside, the people who loved them faced the terrifying, echoing silence of the unknown, the word hope now a desperate, fragile prayer against the relentless march of tragedy. The fractured heartbeats on the monitors were the only sound in a world holding its breath.